All right. Now let's take a look at this death certificate I found interesting. Apparently, Grandpap had a son who lived one day. And this is 1930, October 14th. Michael, you'll notice that Grandpap signed it Michael Huron Sr. The baby's name was Michael Huron. Or I'm sorry, the Michael Huron Jr. was the baby's name. Grandpap signed it Michael Huron. Birthplace Pittsburgh, obviously. Now, mother's maiden name, Esther Michel. Michel. It sent me down another rabbit hole. That was Grandma's maiden name, supposedly. And we're going to see that this is another rabbit hole because her father, which is our great-grandfather, went by several different names. Mike Mickle, Michael Michaels, Michael spelled Michael. A real pain in the ass to try to figure out to get records on him. And the census stuff didn't match up, but I got some information nonetheless. And he was also from Slovakia. Not Czechoslovakia, Slovakia. Which I guess a lot of when I found out from the history, a lot of the miners came from Slovakia. That was throughout the entire country, that's where they would end up. Along with Poles and Ukrainians and so forth. Alright, so that was Grandpap's son, who died after one day. Now we'll go back up to the family tree here. We're going to go next. Alright. Julia Urin, which I got this information from somebody else who was a distant cousin who shared information on this Ancestry.com. This is another can of worms. Check this out. This is a sister of Grandpap. This is one of our great aunts. Look at this mess. This is from the original, Julia Urin, and they crossed it out and they respelt it Urin. You can't make this up. You can't figure it out. Why did they do that? And I was thinking, maybe it's a different family. Why would somebody do that on a birth certificate? I don't know what this says here. Not. I don't know. I don't know what that. But it's certainly the sister, and there's other mentions of Grandpap's having a sister, Julia. Now, this is confirmed that it is Sister Susan, the full maiden name, Tomko. From mother. That's Grandma's. What is that? That's Tomko is Grandma's father. Right? So, and they spelled it Tompko. I found other spellings of Tomko for the same people. These Slovaks and their name changes, the first names are a pain in the butt, but the second names, I guess because we had from Slovakia, it's a Cyrillic alphabet, and some characters don't transfer over, and they just spell it phonetically. But anyways, as we'll see in the family tree, Tomko, Susan Tomko, that's the maiden name of the mother, and I'll go back up to. But this is a mystery. This URIN, and they crossed out UHRIN. Would love to know. This is an official document too. What is the story behind that? And again, we have the birthplace, Austria, which is so not true, but that's very common. And Somerset, where a lot of our ancestors were from, Somerset, Pennsylvania. You'll notice a number of child of this mother, including present birth 10. Number of children is now living, including present child 9. All right. So, all right. So remember that the Tomko, Tompko, as opposed to Tomko. And then we'll go down this rabbit hole. Let's see the family tree. All right. Susan Tomko was our great grandmother. That is Grandpap's mom. Right? I mentioned the mystery of Michael, or Michael Micah, or Michael Mickle. That it's all the same person, and I'm going to show you something. This blew my mind too. This is another mystery. This is Grandma's father. Okay, and this is oh, settle down, sit down. Hold on, I got drama here, dog drama. Look at this. Let me zoom in here. All right. This is from a newspaper. It's a notice, the legal notice that has to be given. Michael W. Huron, attorney, 311 Jones Law Building, Pittsburgh, PA. There's his law number. Notice that letters of administration on the estate of Mike Micah, or Mike Michaels, or Mike Mickle, and we also have Michel, which isn't included there. Deceased, late of Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, having been granted, all persons indebted to said estate will make payment, and those having claims will present them to Mary Varhala, administratrix. So, Mike changed his name a bunch of times, and that was his father-in-law, Mike Mickle. Michael. My wife was joking around. It's like, he sounds like a shady character, right? He's always changing his name, but I don't know. That's an immigrant thing, right? But and I notice it's Mike Mickle or Mike Michaels, right? It's not Michael Michaels, Michael, however you pronounce it. It's Mike, M-I-K-E. Again, with the Americanization, I found that interesting. But it sure proved to be a pain in the ass when you're trying to research somebody from, 100 years back. Records are not easy to come by. All right. Let me figure out what I'm going to do next. There's so much stuff to show you. This could go on for hours, but I'm just going to give you the highlights. Hold on one second. My wife's in, and I'll stop this momentarily and pick it up where I left off. All right, we're back. My wife just got home. The dogs are freaking out because they were fed. What's up, Lucas? What's up, buddy? All right. So, Michael Micah. Some bizarre stuff. All right. Where am I going to go next? Mary Kamiska. It said born in Austria. Actually, it's Polish. And we'll get to that. She's from a town that borders Slovakia. Well, it was part of Slovakia for a while. It's called the contested area. That'll get into the history of it. Her tongue, she put at times as her native tongue is Polish. So, I don't know what to make of that. Let's take a look at the census here. 1930 census. This is our great-grandmother on Grandma's side. So this is Grandma's mother. So we can find it. There it is down there. 1930 census, right? Yeah. All right. This is Mickle Mike, or Mike Mickle, Michel. That's her husband, head of the household. Mary. There's Mike Mickle, Mickel is the spelling now. And we have, at the time in 1930, she was 53, he was 56. What's that? All right. They have a daughter, and the daughter's name is Grandma's name. Not surprisingly, because that is Grandma. Right there. Esther Mickle. Mickel for this one. So it's definitely them. And she was 20 at the time. She was born in 1910, so that all adds up. Now we're coming over here. Now this is interesting. They listed... Hold on. Czechoslovakia. But if you look close, let me zoom in here. Look at the way they put this. Now, you have to keep in mind, in 1930, 1930 Czechoslovakia was one country. All right, so Austro-Hungarian Empire, no more. They put Czechoslovakia. There was no country of Slovakia at the time. There was Czechoslovakia, but look how they spelled it out. The S is capitalized. There's a C capital and an S capitalization. Czechlo space Slovakia. All right. And then Grandma born in Pennsylvania. So first generation. But they were both born in, what they put here is Czechoslovakia. It's actually Slovakia. And look, what's this? Language says what? Slovak. Now, originally when I read that, I was thinking Slavic, right? It's something different. Slavic is a family of languages. You don't say you speak Slavic. You speak a Slavic language. And if they were from what we call the Czech Republic now, you would speak Czech. But they spoke Slovak, which is a different language. It's very similar, and like I said, from what I understand, you can communicate, and some Poles can communicate with Slovaks too, and Ukrainians can speak with them, but it's different. It's not like an accent, or it's not even a dialect because the structure's different and the way they speak's different. And they listed Slovak as their language. They listed Czechoslovakia, capital S. And as my DNA pointed out, that's all Slovak and Hungary. And Hungary, like I said, 1,000 years, it's almost indistinguishable, with starting with the Magyars, warriors, coming up and doing a whole lot of raping. So that makes sense. All right, so let's go back to the family tree and unwrap some more mysteries. And it never ends. This is a marriage license. I got a duplicate here. 1920s. All right, let's take a look at the 1920 census. We'll take a quick look at the marriage license. 1920 census. Oh, here we go again. Down the rabbit hole. This time, it's Michael, M-I-C-H. He's got an A in there? Yeah. M-I-C-H-E-A-L. So in 1920, it's a little different. Wife, Mary, children. We've got another daughter, Mary, which that's kind of interesting. That's definitely an Eastern European thing. You like a Mary Jr. or something, whatever. We have there's Grandma, Esther Michael, and then her Sophia. Grandma was 12 at the time. And over here, let's see, hold on. Oh, what do we got? Able to read and write? Well, that's good. They can read and write. Everybody can read and write. That's good. Now, this is interesting. This time, once again, we have Austria. In 1920 census, he lists Austria. And right here, you'll notice there's a little P. They didn't P. Is that an L? I don't know. There's some PO something, and you'll notice here, tongue. Look at this. Let me zoom in here. More Michael mysteries. Look at this. Tongue. It looks like they started to write Ukrainian, and they wrote something over the top, Ruth whatever. See, there's actually different dialects in Slovakia. There's ones that, depending on which border you're near, really bizarre place. But they listed Ukrainian all of a sudden as mother tongue for Mike Mickle. And birthplace of father. Then they resorted back to Austria for some reason. It's not Austria, as you saw in my DNA. There's not a drop of Austrian in there. There's no German, no Austrian. It's all Huns and Slovaks. I don't know. We're on the wrong line there. I'm sorry. We're on the wrong line. That's Ukraine. That's the neighbors, Ukrainian. No, they listed Polish this time. Both of them list Polish as their native tongue. Which, as I'll show you later, Mike Mickle, before he emigrated, and his wife, they were near that contested border near Poland. So sometimes it's part of Slovakia, sometimes it's not. native tongue Polish, and then native tongue, what's this? Father's native tongue Polish. So, I don't know. Birthplace Austria. Austria is nowhere to be seen there. But that's very common. Able to speak English? Yes, that's good. Occupation machinist. Specifically, he worked in a pipe mill. Machinist. So, and grandma. Is that grandma? Stenographer? Who's this? Who was the stenographer? Oh no, that's Mary, the daughter Mary. At 16, she was a stenographer. So that's interesting. There's Grandma. That's pretty cool. 12 years old. All right. You gotta squeak that next to my ear? I'm trying to do a video here, Lucas. Pain in the ass. Alright, so we'll go back out to the family tree and we'll get further and further back towards Slovakia. Alright. And we're back. Alright, we're back at it. Where did we leave off here? The wife's home, fed the dogs. So we can get back to this. Alright. Mary Kaminska, which is the mysterious Micah, Mikhail. That's his wife, which is, that would be our grandmother's mother. Our grandmother's mother, which is our great-grandma. There's Esther Huron. And her last name is listed as Michele. That's, again, another variation of Michael, whatever, Mikhail. Anyways, this Mary Kaminska, this is the one non-Slovak or possibly non-Slovak in our woodpile. Listed as Polish speaking on some occasions. It says here officially he was born in 1871 in Austria, which again, that Austria is totally full of crap. Her father was George, so I got to update the tree. I don't have George on there yet. Was 21. She married Micah, M-I-K-A, on April 27th, 1896 in Allegheny, Pennsylvania. They had 4 children during the wedding. She died in 35. So let's take a look at some of her facts. Now this marriage, the marriage license is kind of interesting. There's Micah, another spelling, M-I-K-A. Supposedly born in Austria. No. He's a laborer. He was not married before. They live in Pittsburgh. And then Mary Kaminska claims also to be born in Austria. Oh. She was married before. It says, has been married before. The marriage was dissolved by death of her former husband. All right. And the date of this marriage is April 21st, 1896. Now it's interesting, she lists Austria. She says she speaks Polish. That contested area, if she speaks Polish, the contested area is on the northeast border of Slovakia. The absolute opposite side would be Austria. I'll show you on the map. It has nothing to do with Austria. But again, it's probably that Austro-Hungarian Empire thing. I think we already went through this. Let's take a look at this. It's her death certificate. Mary Mickle, M-I-C-K-E-L this time. Husband, Michael Mickle. Name of the father, George Kamanska. Here, birthplace, Czechoslovakia, capital S, Slovakia. So, not Austria, not Poland, but Czechoslovakia, space, capital S, Slovakia. Mother's maiden name, unknown. And so the mystery deepens. We'll go update and we'll put George. What's the maiden name? We don't know the mother's maiden name. So George Kaminska is the only relative. We'll put that up there. I'll do that later. I'm not going to bore you with updating these. It never ends. The information, you keep going further and further back. I'll show you later where now I'm digging up actual records out of Slovakia, which is not easy, but there are some, there's a Slavic pride thing, the Slovakian pride thing after Slovakia in 1993 reemerged as its own country. There's a whole reawakening of the culture and traditions and the records. And so I've met online, I've talked to some people that have helped me with finding the specifics. So let's go over to Susan Tomko, which is Grandpap's mother, our great-grandmother on Grandpap's side. We'll see what we have here. Okay, Susan Tomko was born 1874 in, the first one that's accurate, Slovakia. Yes. Her father, Michael, was 29. I'm going to update that too. We have another leaf going back further now. So he was obviously in Slovakia and never left there, Michael. She had one son and one daughter with John Lucas Urin. Well, this is a mystery name too. The John thing, I don't know. There's a whole thing that John is almost an unheard of spelling in Slovakia. The Lucas, there's also Lukak. He on his headstone, on John Lucas's Urin's headstone, he was listed as, it was inscribed with Lukak, not Lucas, Lukak Urin. All right. She lived 1904 to 1904 1910. She died 1939. Hold on. Okay, she had one daughter and one son between 1904 and 1910. She died November 17th, 1939, Pittsburgh. All right. So that is right next to and the same type of headstone of Lukac urine. Susan Conco, widow of John Lukac, not Lucas, John Lukac urine, and mother of Mrs. Mary Sefix. And Michael W. Huron. Of 2208 Atmore Street. Now, High Mass at the Holy Ghost, it says Greek Catholic, it's Byzantine, which is, I won't get into the religious thing of it. It's the same thing, but we refer to it as the Byzantine Church. That is where Grandma was a member of. That's where just about everybody's laid to rest from our family that's in Pittsburgh. Somerset, once again, whole bunch of urines in Somerset. I'm going to have to go to Google View and check out 1624 Falk Ave. That should be interesting. Maybe I'll include that in this video. So that's definitely Grandpap's mother there. And John Lukac, not Lucas, it's been listed. Again, with the Czech, the Slovaks changing their names. Bizarre. 1930 census, we went over that.